To begin this tutorial, go to the Shanks tab, click on the Curve command, and create a curve for a US size 7 ring. Then click Accept. Now go to the Curve tab and use the Circle command to create another curve. From the front view, type 0 to set the center, then type 20.65 millimeters and press Shift to activate the Ortho option. As you can see, 4 guides appear. While holding Shift, click on the right side to create the circle. Next, select the outer circle and using the gumball from the front view, move it upward by 0.35 millimeters. Then use the Line command to create a line that crosses both circles through the center axis. Use Grid Snap to ensure you're clicking exactly on the center axis. If you press Shift, Ortho will be activated, ensuring the line is straight along the Z-axis. Select the inner circle, and in the upper left corner, click Split. Then select the line as the cutting object. You can delete the left part of the curve as well as the line. Now select the remaining half. Go to the Analyze tab and use the Length command to check its length. Then select the value that appears in the command bar. Right-click and copy it. Go to the Curve tab and create a line from the top view. Select any point, then go to the command bar, click on the command bar, and press Ctrl+V, or right-click and select Paste. Now press Shift and click on the right side from the front view. Now you have a line with the same length as the curve. Select the line and type Artisan Center to center it, then move it slightly away from the center axis using the gumball. Now focus on the right view. I'll change the display mode so you can better see the curves. Inside the Arc command, in the submenu, use Start, End, Point on Arc. Using the viewport grid as a reference, first deactivate Grid Snap, then place the first point 2.5 squares to the right and 1.5 squares up, as shown in the video. Then, for the lower point starting from the lowest point of the curve, move 2 squares to the left and 1 square down, and place the second point. Once both points are created, adjust the curvature of the arc. Click following a vertical line from the last point created, 1 square in height. You can change the arc to another layer to see it more clearly. From the 4 viewports, we can see the curves we're creating. All of them will help us build our ring. Now go to the Curve tab and use the Curve from 2 Views command. First select the inner curve, then the arc we just created. As you can see, a new curve is automatically generated. Now go to the Transform tab and use the Smart Flow by Curve command. The base curve will be the inner curve. The target curve will be the horizontal line of equal length. And the deformable object will be the last arc we created. We now have our first reference curve. Once the curve is created, we can accept the command. Click on the bottom of the viewport to switch to shaded mode. Hold Shift and click to change the view mode in all viewports. As we can see, when selecting the reference curve, it has many control points. Go to the Curve tab and use the Fit command. As shown in the command bar, the default tolerance is set to 0.1, which we'll leave as is. Press Enter to reduce the number of control points. Now from the top view, with the curve selected, go to the Transform tab and use the Mirror command. Use the left end of the center line as the mirror axis, and while holding Shift, click on the right side to execute. Now select both curves and use the Mirror command again, this time reflecting them from the top end of the curve, clicking and holding Shift on the lower side. Now select everything and use the Move command. Select the left end of the inner curve as the base point, activate Grid Snap, and then click on the Y-axis to center the elements. To finish, select the 4 created curves and use the Join command, located in the upper left, to join them. Now we'll create some offsets. First, select the upper curve and click on the Offset command. Enter 0.75 for the first offset and click on the inner side. Remember that by right-clicking, you can rerun the last command used. Then create another offset, this time 1.5 millimeters. Select both offsets and use the mirror command to copy them to the lower side. Remember, you can use Shift to help with positioning. Switch back to the 4 views and return to the front view. Then, in the OSNAP panel, if the project option is active, turn it off. Now, in the Curve tab, use the Point command to create a reference point. Again, use the grid squares as a reference for placement. From the center axis, count 4 squares and place a point on the inner curve as shown in the video. Return to the 4 views. From the perspective view, type Flow into the command bar and press Enter. Then select the point and press Enter. Now select the lower end of the inner curve and then the left end of the center line. You'll see the point has been flowed onto the outer reference curve. With the help of the gumball and from the top view, move the point toward the center line. This point will simply serve as a reference. Turn off Grid Snap to position it more precisely. Now maximize the top view and use the Blend command. Then select the 2 offset curves in the center. A new blend curve will appear, and we'll move points 1 and 2 until the end of the blend curve lies exactly over the reference point. Take your time to adjust the points, making sure they are at the same height and that the right end touches the reference point. Once positioned, make sure the trim and join options are enabled. Accept the command. Now create a line along the center axis. Select the curve where the blend was made and use the Split command. Use the line as the cutting object. Delete the right side of the curve. Then select the remaining curve and, in the Transform tab, use the Mirror command. Using the line as the mirror axis. Then join both parts using the Join command. To reduce the number of control points, select the curve, go to the Curve tab, and use the Fit command with a tolerance of 0.1. Press Enter to confirm. With the curve still selected, go to the Accessories tab and use the Profiles command. For this model, we'll use the PRO08 asset. Returning to the 4 views, we can see how it fits nicely along our curve. Click Edit to adjust some parameters. First, change the curve shapes of the profiles. Use Curve 002 from the Asset selector for both profiles. Then adjust the parameters of both profiles by changing the width to 1.5. Now, using the top view, duplicate one of the profiles and add it to one end of the model, exactly on the center axis. Edit this last one and change the height to 1.5 millimeters. You'll see it's lower than the rest of the model. Now do the same for the other end. Duplicate profile number 2 in my case. Use the profile number to identify it and add it to the opposite end. Once all 4 profiles are placed, click Accept to confirm the command. Now that we have our first solid, we're going to create a reference surface. To do this, go to the Surface tab. This time we'll use the Loft command. From the top view, select the outer curves and press Enter. In the Options window, simply click Accept. Now select the surface, then use the Split command and use the solid profile we created earlier as the cutting object. As you can see, the surface is now divided into 3 parts. Select the part on the right and, with the help of the gumball, click on the small blue sphere, set a value of 1.35 to extrude, and press Enter. To continue, go to the Shanks tab and create another curve using the USA region and size 7. Then go to the Curve tab. We'll create a line that crosses the surface from side to side. The first point will be at the center of the left end, then we'll use the perspective view to make sure the other point is placed at the lowest part. Use OSNAP to view guides and position the points of the curve correctly and accurately. Now go to the Transform tab and use the Smart Flow by Curve command. In the Selector panel, use the line we just created as the base curve, the size 7 ring curve as the target curve, and as the deformable object, select the solid along with the extruded surface. Click Accept, and now we have the structure of our ring. Although it's not fully complete yet, as we can see the lower part is still missing. Before mirroring the bottom part, go to the Solid tab and use the Extract Surface command. Click on the surface that closes the shank. Make sure that in the command bar, the copy option is set to No. Delete that surface. Next, go to the Transform tab and use the Mirror command to create the other side of the shank. Select the lower part and use the center line to position the mirror. You can use Shift to activate ortho and ensure the mirror is aligned correctly. Then select both solids and join them using the Join command. Press F3 to view the properties and make sure it's a closed solid. And voila! We now have the basic structure of our ring. To position the gems, the first thing we'll do is go to the Curve tab and use the Extract ISO Curve on Surface command to create a curve in the center of each side of the shank. With OSNAP activated, you'll see the mid-guide. Select that point. Change the curve to another layer so it's easier to see. I'll hide the other elements so we can work more cleanly, leaving only the shank and the gem guide curve visible. Now go to the Diamonds tab and click on the Gems on Curve command. In the selector, add the curve, then select the reference surface to correctly orient the gems. For this model, we'll use 1.25mm gems and set the gems distance to 0.4mm. Click Update. We can see that with these values, the end gems are positioned exactly in the middle, and the top central gems are properly centered. Once the gems are positioned, change the vertical alignment to top and accept the command to create them. Now, in the same tab, use the Micro Settings command. Add the gems to the selector. Adjust the parameters. Set width to 0.70. Then activate the V-cutters and change the length to 2.5. Now activate the Channel option, scroll to the bottom of the panel, and set the channel to close to create a closed channel. Then in the channel parameters, change the width to 0.6. Once all the parameters are set, we can accept the command to generate the cutters. To cut the shank, go to the Solid tab and use the Boolean difference command. Select the upper part of the shank and press Enter, then select all the cutters one by one and press Enter. Now we have our gems perfectly placed and visible with a beautiful setting. To continue with the model, we'll show the solid and the surface and hide the rest of the elements. From the top view, select one of the object layers to create a series of curves. Enable Project in the OSNAP panel before drawing them. You can also double-click on OSNAP to open the panel if it's not visible. In the Curve tab, click on the Line command. We'll draw a series of lines crossing the inner part of the solid. The curves can be drawn freely. They don't have to be exact. Pause the video if you need to or want to copy the same layout. But again, they don't have to be precise, as long as they cross the inside and extend slightly beyond it. We can see that with Project enabled, all the curves were created at the same height, aligned to the base of the surface. Once the curves are done, we'll create a line to define the profile we'll use. Go to the Accessories tab and use the Profiles command. Again, we'll use the PRO08 preset, then click on Edit, and we'll adjust some parameters. Change the profile curves to 002, as we did before, for both profiles. Change the width of both profiles to 1.5mm, and once you're done, accept the command. Now in the Outline section, use the Apply command. Select the created profile, then the curves, and press Enter. You'll see the profile is applied to all curves. To cut the profiles precisely, select the inner surface and extrude it using the gumball. Move it downward slightly to ensure it extends below the solid. Now select the profiles. And in the Solid tab, use the Boolean intersect command. Then select the extrusion as the cutting object and press Enter. Now select the profiles. Use the Smart Flow by Curve command in the Transform tab. As deformable objects, select the inner profiles. Use the horizontal line as the base curve and the size 7 ring curve as the target. Accept the command, and our model is nearly complete. Just a few details left to refine. Change the display mode of the front view to ghosted so you can better see inside the elements. Go to the Curve tab and create a circle. Set the center point to 0 and draw a circle large enough to slightly exceed the height of the gem's bottom point. Select the curve and switch back to the 4 viewports. Do this from the perspective view, using the gumball, holding Alt to extrude it in both directions. Make sure it extends beyond the ring on both sides. Now select the profiles. Then, in the Solid tab, use the Boolean intersection command. Select the cylinder and press Enter. Now you can move the profiles to a different layer and hide the rest of the elements. And that's it. Our model is fully finished, ready for rendering, and to be shared on our social media channels. We'll share an example render, but feel free to unleash your creativity and share your results with us.